Hi everyone, Helen Blunden here. Hope you're happy, healthy and well. I have just finished this book and wow, what a book. It was Tommy Wieringa's A Beautiful Young Wife, published in 2016 and translated into English by Sam Garrett. It is not the very first book of Tommy Wieringa's I have reviewed. I have been enjoying his books, and he is an author I have just found out about this year, simply because this year I've been reading authors from non-English speaking backgrounds. I loved this book simply because I detested the character. What is this book about? Edward Landauer is a microbiologist, and I guess you could call him, he's fairly old, he's not married, he's a bachelor, and he never wanted to get married. He certainly didn't want a life that many people would want. But one day he spies this young, beautiful looking woman with blonde hair on a bike who cycles past him, and he thought, I simply must have her. All of a sudden he just fell in love. It was love at first sight, and he ran into this lady called Ruth, and it was a whirlwind romance. Immediately he was sucked in. What happens then, he gets married to her, and he starts to find out that him being older, as he gets older and older, she also is not sharing that aging journey with him. And what happens is they have a kid, but the kid can't settle, and over time we start to see a relationship that is going on the skids. It's deteriorating slowly but surely. But there is a part of it that I think that it was Edward's fault in some way. He strikes me as someone who is loathsome. He's better than everyone else. He thinks highly of himself. He's not a very empathetic character. He's certainly not compassionate. He's very selfish and egotistical. But then Ruth offers an alternative view, and so she also puts his life into a bit of a flux. If you can imagine someone who's very well set in their ways, very highly experienced, in comes someone with a completely different viewpoint or different perspective, which then shocks his world in a way, and he has to either come to terms with it or he has to kind of be flexible in some way. But he starts to resent it as well, and he resents Ruth. And so this book is really about how a relationship, and especially in a relationship with a big age gap, starts to deteriorate over time. Now, when Ruth has a young baby, their son just simply can't settle, and Ruth starts to believe that it is Edward's fault. Anytime Edward is in the room, the baby cries. So therefore she starts to say to him, you know what? It would be better if you're not around. Maybe it's Edward's fault that the kid can't settle. And so over time it is again once like a slow reveal of a relationship that is going sour. Add to that, Edward also has affairs with his colleague, and once again things just go worse and worse for him over time, to the point right at the end there's some kind of comeuppance. But the book is all about the different themes of the age gaps, but I think there's also a theme of pain. There's also a theme of compassion. There's also a theme of, in society now, people are not likely to view different perspectives or different viewpoints in ways where they can reflect around their own behaviours. Edward is a very selfish character, and you tend to think, when is he going to wake up and actually see that yes, he is partly to fault. It's not all about him. And so I think what this book was saying in many ways is not only about relationships, but also about how as we age, there are different people who come into our lives who offer different perspectives. And what this means is that we need to at least be flexible and be more open to understand what these perspectives are, knowing that our own behaviours would need to change, or we need to think of other ways of being able to do what we thought we could always get away with in the past. What I liked was Ruth's different perspectives to things, and an example was he takes her to a conference. Now, this is a typical conference that is happening for businesses all around the world, and she starts to question, well, who's paying for this? Why are they paying you? What's the kickback? What's the payback? And so as you read this, you think, shit, she's right. Okay, we have gone through and we do certain things in our day-to-day work, but there's an expectation, on the other hand, that if companies pay you to do something, they want something else. Okay, so she started to question all these things, and it kind of unraveled Edward's world. So really good book, a very easy read, a very quick read. It sucks you in straight away. I marked a conversation here between Edward and Ruth, which was exactly what I had mentioned before about questioning how things are done in the business world and what the expectations are, and how sometimes we need to change the business models about what we do and how we do things. Anyway, that's Tommy Wieringa's A Beautiful Young Wife. Highly recommended. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching. Bye for now.